Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a concept that genuinely has the power to reshape how you understand yourself. It's this surprising and frankly pretty liberating truth that you are not your brain. And importantly, you absolutely have the capacity to change it. Our main guide for this is the, well, incredibly insightful book, You Are Not Your Brain, by Jeffrey Schwartz and Rebecca Gladding. But we're also going to weave in some timeless wisdom from Mindfulness in Plain English by Bhante Gunaratana. So our mission here is really to give you a kind of shortcut, a way to understand how to break bad habits, get out of those unhealthy thinking loops, and really take conscious control of your life. We'll explore how to spot those sneaky, deceptive brain messages the authors talk about, and then crucially, how to redirect your attention to literally rewire your brain for the better.
Yeah, and what's truly foundational here, I think, and what Schwartz and Gladding makes so clear is this vital distinction. It's the difference between the passive reactive brain and the active intentional mind. This isn't just, semantics or philosophy. It's absolutely key. It's the key to understanding how we can actually step out of those automatic, often unhelpful patterns that feel like they're running the show. For me, this distinction is where your real power starts.
Right. And that title, You Are Not Your Brain, it's a bold statement, isn't it? Almost rebellious. It pushes back against this idea that so many of us just absorb, that our thoughts, our urges, our feeling, well, that is us.
Yeah.
But the authors argue something quite different. They show us that the brain's role is often more like this incredibly complex automatic machine. It's reacting constantly to the environment, wired for immediate survival, like a kind of efficient operating system. It doesn't necessarily care about your long-term values or your true self or the big picture. It just reacts. Think about Kara from the book. Her brain, trying to find quick relief, had wired itself to falsely link unhealthy eating patterns like binging or extreme dieting with being thinner and therefore more loved or accepted.
Right, those faulty connections.
Exactly. It got stuck in these awful loops of anxiety and self-destructive actions. Her brain was basically on autopilot, chasing that momentary comfort, but it was costing her dearly in terms of real well-being. It's a really powerful example of how our own internal machinery can sometimes work against us.
It really is. And if the brain is that reactive machine, then the mind is the active, conscious player in this whole thing. It has this unique ability to focus attention constructively. Unlike the brain's automatic, sometimes really short-sighted reactions, the mind can actually step back. It can consider options, weigh those immediate impulses against your longer-term goals, and it's guided by what Schwartz and Gladding call your wise advocate.
The wise advocate, right?
Yeah, that inner sense of clarity, of compassion that recognizes your inherent worth and what you're capable of. So while the brain and mind work together constantly, for survival and well-being, it's the mind that really gives you the power to consciously direct your life where you want it to go.
That distinction is brain's automatic stuff versus the mind's intentional focus that feels like a real game changer. It makes you realize how many unhealthy habits aren't really us, but more like these patterns that just get wired in. And the authors really dig into these things they call deceptive brain messages, or DBMs. What exactly are those, and how do they lead us off track?
Well, DBMs are essentially those thoughts, impulses, urges, desires, even physical sensations that cause distress, that knot in your stomach, a racing heart, maybe an overwhelming craving, or intense feelings like fear, anxiety, anger. They're deceptive because they often promise some kind of immediate relief or a quick solution to that distress. But in reality, they usually lead you down a harmful path. The insidious part is how they push us towards these automatic, habitual responses. We act on them hoping for that quick fix, even if those actions ultimately hurt us in the long run.
So our brain, trying to solve a problem fast, actually creates a new problem, like Steve in the book, who struggled with anger.
Yeah, that's a great example.
His deceptive brain messages convinced him everyone wanted something from him, right? Which constantly triggered annoyance and anger. And then his brain linked drinking with reducing that stress, creating this really powerful, destructive loop.
Exactly.
So it's like the brain's alarm system is blaring, but it's pointing at the wrong fire.
Perfectly put. Steve's situation shows exactly how these patterns get entrenched. And the science behind it, the sort of neurological why, is really fascinating. It comes back to a principle many people might have heard of, Hebb's Law.
Hebb's Law.
Right. Basically, neurons or brain regions that fire together wire together. This explains perfectly why Steve's urge to drink got stronger the more he did it. When nerve cells fire in the same pattern repeatedly, they form a brain circuit. Once that circuit is established, those brain areas respond more automatically whenever a similar situation pops up. It strengthens the circuit, creates these powerful habits.
Makes sense.
But here's the really crucial insight. This whole process is amplified by what the authors call attention density. It's not just that neurons fire together, it's that repeatedly focusing your attention on something actively or even passively, that's the glue. That's what makes specific habits really wire into your brain.
Okay, so attention is like the volume knob for Hebb's law.
You could say that, yeah. So this raises a really important question for all of us, right? If our brains are wired this way, are we just destined to repeat these patterns forever? And the answer, according to Schwartz and Gladding, is a resounding no. We have the power of self-directed neuroplasticity.
Self-directed neuroplasticity. That sounds powerful.
It is. It's this incredible ability to use focused attention, commitment, hard work, dedication to actually direct your choices and actions. And by doing that, you literally rewire your brain to work for you, for your true self. Biology is absolutely not destiny. You have the ability to overcome even inherited obstacles and fundamentally change your brain structure.
That's truly remarkable. The idea we can consciously direct our own neuroplasticity. Wow, that's incredibly empowering. It makes me think of Connie Smiley's story from the book.
Oh, yeah. Incredible story.
After a really severe stroke, left her unable to move half her body, doctors basically told her she'd never walk again.
Grim prognosis.
But her deep passion for animals and teaching things that gave her life real meaning became this driving force. She focused her attention with such dedication. She quite literally taught a different part of her brain to control her left side.
Amazing.
She even, the book says, borrowed neuronal firepower from the area controlling her right hand. She rewired her brain through sheer, focused effort, proving that passion and intentional attention can overcome what seems impossible.
Her story isn't just inspiring, it's like a scientific testament to the mind's power over the brain's initial state. But it begs the question, if we can rewire for recovery, what drives those unhelpful patterns in the first place? And that's where the authors introduce us to the O Center.
The O Center.
Catchy name. It is. Areas in the brain like the amygdala, insula, anterior cingulate, think of it as your brain's primitive warning system. When these areas light up, you get that overwhelming, visceral feeling that something is wrong. It's your internal alarm bell.
Okay.
And it often gets triggered even when there's no immediate physical danger.
So our brain is constantly scanning for threats, real or imagined. This leads to a really key concept, free won't, or what people sometimes call veto power, which neuroscientist Benjamin Libet talked about.
Exactly, the veto power.
It suggests that while your brain might just spontaneously generate urges or desires, like John's brain, creating anxiety about his partner Alicia leaving, making him want to check emails constantly, your mind has the power to veto acting on those impulses, maybe even before they fully form. You're not responsible for the thought popping up, but you are responsible for what you do next. You don't control the factory, but you control the shipping department.
That's a fantastic analogy, yes. And what's truly fascinating here is how deeply connected these brain reactions are to our early experiences, especially our relationships. Good enough caretaking, where caregivers respond to a child's needs, say about 50% of the time, consistently enough, that's crucial for developing a calm, secure O center.
Makes sense. Security.
Right. A consistent lack of that responsive, attuned care, that can lead to a chronically firing O center, a brain that's constantly on high alert. And that often fuels the development of unhealthy habits as the brain just tries to find ways to cope with all that constant distress.
So early experiences really shape that baseline level of anxiety or alertness.
Profoundly. And this ties directly into what are called the 5 A's: attention, acceptance, affection, appreciation, and allowing. These are absolutely essential for secure attachment, not just in childhood, but all through life. And sadly, many people find these lacking somewhere in their lives.
The 5 A's. Attention, acceptance, affection, appreciation, allowing.
Got it. And the research, like Naomi Eisenberger's virtual ball tossing game, it even shows our O center fires up when we experience social exclusion. Our brain perceives social rejection as being almost as dangerous as physical pain.
Wow. Social pain is real pain to the brain.
Exactly. Which is why neglecting our own needs or feeling unaccepted by others can so powerfully trigger this warning system. Think of Sarah's childhood story. Dropping the ice cream, mocked by her brother, scolded by her mom.
Oh, yeah, that was rough.
It wired her brain with this destructive message. Be perfect, or you're a useless, pathetic loser. Her brain learned to link perceived disapproval with emotional danger, intense anxiety. And that led to a lifelong pattern of overthinking, self-doubt. It really shows why it's so important not to take things personally when those unhelpful, fear-driven parts of your brain's self-referencing system get activated.
That's a powerful example, and unfortunately probably relatable for many people, how deeply these patterns can set in. And here's where it gets really interesting for us, I think. When we start to unmask these patterns by identifying what the authors call thinking errors,
Mm-hmm. The distortions.
yeah, these automatic habitual ways, our brain twists reality, often without us even noticing, like mental shortcuts that promise to help, but often just lead us further down the wrong path.
Ugh.
Let's look at a few common ones because you listening will likely recognize some of these in yourself. There's all or nothing thinking, seeing things in extremes, good or bad, perfect or total failure. You might devalue yourself as all bad or set impossibly high standards.
Black and white thinking.
It's exactly. Ed, for example, his mother always found fault with his choices, which made him feel like a second-class citizen, feeding this all-or-nothing view that he was never quite good enough. Then there's catastrophizing, or fortune-telling.
Yes, the crystal ball of doom.
Right, exaggerating current stuff or predicting the absolute worst-case scenario, playing out disaster movies in your head, John's compulsive email checking, driven by that fear Alicia would leave him. Perfect example of his brain catastrophizing. And finally, faulty comparisons or discounting the positive, constantly comparing your life to some idealized version or to others, focusing only on what's missing. Liz, despite her career success, always compared her life to this dream life she imagined, always feeling like it was never enough. It's like the brain has a filter that only lets the negative stuff through.
It's those filters, those thinking errors, that really highlight the difference between healthy and unhealthy emotional responses. And the authors make a really vital distinction here: true emotions versus emotional sensations.
Okay, true emotions versus emotional sensations.
Think of it like this. True emotions are your body's genuine alarm for real danger or real joy, like the smoke detector going off when there's an actual fire. They're reactions anyone would have in a genuinely tough or wonderful situation. They deserve your attention, need constructive dealing.
Right, valid signals.
Emotional sensations, though, they often come from those DBMs and thinking errors. They're like the smoke detector going off because you burned the toast.
Okay. Loud, but not a real emergency.
Exactly. A loud reaction may be stirred up by those deceptive messages, but not based on current reality.
Yeah.
And your wise advocate is crucial here, helping you tell the difference.
Got it.
We also see productive versus destructive anxiety. Productive anxiety is that genuine signal of danger or a motivator, like the energy you feel needing to meet a deadline. Destructive anxiety, it's repetitive, relentless, leads nowhere healthy, like Abby's constant worry about her family even when they were perfectly safe.
That churning, pointless word.
Precisely. And then there are helpful versus harmful should statements. Should can inspire positive action, like Connie pushing herself in therapy after her stroke. But it can also just shame us, make us angry, keep us stuck, if the underlying intention is self-criticism. James Gross's research even shows that suppressing emotions, like anger, can actually increase stress hormones and blood pressure.
Wow. So bottling it up isn't the answer either.
Definitely not. Understanding these nuances, true emotion versus sensation, productive versus destructive anxiety, helpful versus harmful shoulds, that's key to disarming the brain's deceptive patterns and letting your mind take charge.
This all makes so much sense, theoretically.
Yeah.
But for someone listening right now who wants to actually do this, how do we put it into practice? That's where the authors give us that practical, powerful framework, the 4 steps to rewire your brain.
Yes, the 4 steps.
And the core principle, just to reiterate, is you can't stop the thoughts or sensations from popping up, but you can choose how you respond.
Yeah.
It's all about consciously directing your attention.
Absolutely. And these steps aren't about stopping the brain's chatter. You can't, really. It's about changing your relationship to it. So, step 1 is relabel.
Relabel.
This means actively identifying those DBMs and uncomfortable sensations for what they are. Deceptive brain messages.
No.
Not reality. You use short, simple mental notes to name the experience, like spinning, brain fog, craving, anger. Liz, for instance, learned to relabel her morning anxiety about being alone as irrational or maybe stomach-turning.
Okay, just naming it.
Exactly. It creates this crucial mental distance from the immediate feeling. It tells your brain, this isn't me, this is just my brain acting up.
I see. Detaching slightly.
Precisely. Then step 2 is reframe.
Reframe.
Here, you actively challenge those thinking errors. You see the situation from a different, healthier perspective. You try to understand where it's coming from. You remind yourself, this is just my brain trying to trick me, or, okay, I'm feeling social pain right now, but it's not a real threat. This is where you call on your wise advocate to see the bigger picture.
Like Liz reframing her worry about the nursing home.
Right. She told herself, I can handle myself. I can find ways to make life meaningful wherever I am. Or Sarah, tracing her perfectionism back to that childhood ice cream thing, realizing those messages were false, they had nothing to do with her real worth.
So it's about challenging the brain's default story.
Exactly. Don't take its first draft as the final truth. Then comes step 3, refocus.
Refocus. This sounds like the action step.
It is. This is the active, sometimes hard work part.
Yeah.
You deliberately redirect your attention to healthy, constructive behaviors while those DBMs and uncomfortable sensations are still present.
While they're there, not trying to push them away.
That's the key. Don't try to make the feelings go away. Instead, engage in an activity that strongly captures your attention. Physical activity, a challenging puzzle, reading something, absorbing deep conversation. You're basically starving the DBMs of attention and feeding healthier brain circuits instead.
Boom. Shift the spotlight.
Exactly. And within refocus, there are a couple of powerful techniques. First, regulate and refocus. This uses breathing techniques to calm your nervous system, get that relaxation response going. For hyperventilation or panic, it's often breathing in for 4 counts, out for 8. For general anxiety, maybe 4 in, 4 out.
The breathing techniques.
Yeah. Sarah found the 4 in, 8 out breath really helpful during panic attacks. She'd do the breathing while reminding herself, this feeling will pass. It's a direct way to counteract the body's stress response.
Okay, that makes sense. Calming the physical reaction.
Right. Second, there's refocus with progressive mindfulness. This is where you gradually expose yourself to situations you tend to avoid because of DBMs. You allow the discomfort to be there without acting on the urge to escape while you engage in a healthy refocus activity.
Gradual exposure.
Yes.
Yes.
But a crucial warning here, this technique is not for highly addictive, dangerous things like alcohol or drugs. Those often need complete abstinence for safety. This is more for anxieties, compulsions, less dangerous craving.
Right. Important distinction.
So for Ed, who avoided auditions because he feared not being good enough, this meant gradually doing performance-related things, calling his agent, maybe joining a local theater group instead of isolating. Sarah practiced deliberately making small, harmless mistakes to challenge her perfectionism.
Facing the fear, but with a plan.
Exactly. And for cravings like food or gaming, the principle of moderation is key. Gradual reduction, maybe occasional planned indulgence when you're not actually craving it. This helps prevent those craving circuits from getting stronger. Think of Nicole's taper plan for smoking, or her structured approach to stress eating. It's about gradually retraining the brain, not just willpower.
Okay, so relabel, reframe, refocus. What's the last one?
The last step, and it's really crucial for long-term change, is step 4, revalue.
Revalue.
This is about fundamentally shifting your whole relationship with these deceptive brain messages, diminishing their power over you, and cultivating this powerful rational faith in your ability to change. You gain perspective from your wise advocate, that imagined loving, caring figure. Could be Liz's grandmother, Ed's best friend, or just your own wisest, most compassionate self.
Accessing that inner wisdom.
Yes. The wise advocate helps you recognize your inherent worth, your capabilities, your real accomplishments, things the DBMs try to obscure, and rational faith. Well, it isn't blind faith. It's believing in what you know deep down to be true, that you can change even when doubt creeps in. You trust the process because you're putting in the effort.
Faith's based on action and understanding.
Precisely. John, using his wise advocate, realized his anxiety and guilt were DBMs. That allowed him to feel his true emotions, like anger and sadness, constructively. Stuart learned to connect with loved ones, really take in their opinions, which strengthened his own wise advocate, making it a powerful ally. This step really recenters your sense of self and your power to choose.
Wow. Okay, so relabel, reframe, refocus, revalue. It's a clear path. So what does this all mean for you listening? I mean, it means you have this incredible, often untapped power to shape your brain and your life.
Right.
By consciously directing your attention, by consistently applying these 4 steps. It's about recognizing the brain's automatic reactive stuff, those DBMs, and then actively choosing to engage your mind, follow the path of your true self.
It's empowering.
It really is. The core insight here, repeated again and again in the sources, is profound. Biology is not destiny. Your focused attention is the most powerful tool you have, starting small, celebrating successes, even tiny ones, maybe with a daily gratitude list that's vital. Actively paying attention to your true self is key. And remember those 5 A's: attention, acceptance, affection, appreciation, allowing. Cultivating those for yourself, that's essential for building worth from the inside out.
Absolutely. Self-compassion is huge.
And Diana Winston's tip, setting a timer for just a minute or 2 each hour to focus on your breath, That can make a massive difference. Helps you stay balanced,
Mm.
prevents getting lost in those endless, unhelpful thought loops.
Yeah, the small resets add up, and it really raises an important question for all of us to consider, doesn't it? Given that focused attention quite literally rewires your brain, how will you consciously choose to direct your attention today? How will you start building the brain you want to live with tomorrow? How might actively cultivating gratitude, or maybe just curiosity, even for a few minutes each day, how might that incrementally reshape your default reactions? How might it open up new possibilities for your true self, letting your wise advocate really take the lead?